We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance and then a quiet moment. Just give thanks. Think about our country. What a great place it is. How many privileges we have, opportunities we have, and responsibilities we have. Sometimes we think about our problems, not about our blessings. Today's a good day to think about your blessings. Anyway, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, am I on here? Yeah. We will open the meeting today as the governing body for the 4-H Extension Service District. And we have our agenda item there is to approve the district spending money to replace the roof on the OSU Extension Office in Myrtle Point. I guess I'll just take this one. We are requesting approval to move forward with and contract with Pioneer Roofing LLC for the OSU extension roof. We published the request for bids in the Daily Commerce Journal in Douglas County, and we received 2 bids for the project. Pioneer Roofing was the lowest bid, is able to get the project started this summer, and was the only company to come out to the building with maintenance to measure and see what the building needs. Pioneer's bid came in at $155,000. The other company's bid was $219,000. So the requested action is to approve spending on the contract with Pioneer Roofing LLC for the OSU extension roof replacement. This will be paid for by the 4-H themselves. Sorry.
Nope,
I
you're
didn't
okay.
see you.
I wasn't sure if you guys were gonna have any questions, so I'm here.
I'm pleased that you're here to answer any questions. Sorry if I had my head
Go
down
for
and
it. You can take this anytime
the
you
other
want.
part of my body up. So, any questions?
Nope.
Do we have a motion?
I think my packet is goofed.
I move we approve spending on a contract with Pioneer Roofing LLC for the OSU extension roof replacement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have a new voting procedure that we need to do because of public meeting laws, and that is that we do kind of a roll call vote on our votes.
Okay.
So you go first,
All right.
and I go second. Aye. Any abstentions or negatives? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank
Abby,
you.
do they have the signed contract? Or do I need to give them mine?
So the contract will come up later as an agenda
Okay.
item. So the
Okay.
contract is with Coos County proper. This is the
Okay.
spending by the district for the county's
Also,
contract.
I'll be back up.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we will close as the governing body of the 4-H Extension Service District and open as the Coos County Board of Commissioners. And our first item for that part of the agenda is a public hearing for an application for a fall 2025 Community Development Block Grant on behalf of the Green Acres Rural Fire Protection District. I'll explain a little bit about why we're doing this, and then I'll ask Chief Corey Bryant of the Green Acres District to talk about what we're doing. The district is located in an unincorporated area of Coos County, which means the county will need to serve as the applicant on the district's behalf. A low to moderate income survey conducted by Portland State University determined that 55.3% of the population falls within the low to moderate income threshold. Since community development block grant guidelines require a minimum of 51%, the project qualifies for this funding. And so, Corey, thank you for being here, and thank you for the work you're doing. And can you describe what you're block grant's going to be used for?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, we found out that the lease for our current fire department was not going to be continued after 2027. So we were able to purchase property from the State Grange Association, and we are looking at building a new and much larger facility on that property. So the proposed upgrades include construction of a larger facility featuring 7 to 9 bays, kind of depending on the layout. 2 of which will have the pull-through capability, which makes it a little bit safer for larger trucks, considering most accidents happen when backing. The new fire hall will also include an exhaust control system, lockers, sleeping quarters, a gym, health facilities, administrative office space, and a conference meeting room. The conference meeting room goal is to be able to have at least 100 people in there. There's no facilities like that in the county for any law enforcement or fire to hold very large classes or meetings. So that would be a huge benefit to the county. And then with the laundry room, showers, and the lobby area and other essential components of a modern fire service facility. So the grant will include a dedicated line item for grant management, meaning the county will not be responsible for the majority of the work. I think we've already proved that in a lot of ways, taking this on. Approximately 95% will be related to compliance, disbursement requests, and change orders. So we'll have a company that will handle all the invoicing and everything up front so that everything can be reviewed and handed to the county in a packet each month to minimize the workload. CCD Business Development Corporation will prepare the application and serve as the liaison between the county and the district for all required components. So with your approval today, that means that we will begin filling out the application, having it ready for your autograph as the grant opened today.
I think on behalf of the Treasurer's Office, I want to thank Corey for the work you have done to make this easier for the county. In times past, it's really placed a burden upon the county to administer one of these grants. So thank you for that. Well, the next part of the process here is to read the public hearing notice into the record and open the hearing. So bear with me. This is going to take a while to read through this. Public notice and notice of public hearing. Coos County is eligible to apply for a 2025 Community Development Block Grant from Business Oregon. Community Development Block Grant funds come from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The grants can be used for public facilities and housing improvements, particularly for persons with low and moderate incomes. Approximately $12 million will be awarded to Oregon non-metropolitan cities and counties in 2025. The maximum grant that a city or county can receive is $1,500,000. Coos County is preparing, actually we're approving, that you prepare an application for the 2025 Community Development Block Grant from Business Oregon for the construction of a new fire hall for the Green Acres Rural Fire Protection District. It is estimated that the proposed project will benefit at least 800 persons, of whom 55.3% will be of low or moderate income. A public hearing is being held by the Board of Commissioners today, 7/1/25 at 201 North Adams Street, Coquille, Oregon. The purpose of the hearing is for the Board of Commissioners to gather public input, respond to questions and comments about the proposed project, and better understand community needs, those of low and moderate income residents that may be addressed through a block grant project. Written comments are also welcome and must have been received yesterday at 5 p.m. at 225 North Adams. Both oral and written comments will be considered by the Board of Commissioners. The location of the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Please contact Bobby Brooks if you need any special accommodations. More information about Oregon Community Block Grants, the proposed project, and records about the county's past use of such funds is available for public review at 225 North Adams, Coquille, during regular business hours. Permanent involuntary displacement of persons or businesses is not anticipated as a result from the proposed project. If displacement becomes necessary, alternatives will be examined to minimize the displacement and provide required or reasonable benefits to those displaced. Any low and moderate income housing that is demolished or converted to another use will be replaced. So to my knowledge, none of that is happening. So, does anyone wish to provide any information about this project during the course of this hearing?
I have some questions.
Okay.
If there's no questions or comments from the public. Looking at our common visitors, okay. So you had mentioned there's a company that will handle the invoicing, minimize the workload for the county. What's the name of that company?
That's going to be the engineering company, Civil West.
Okay, Civil West.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned you'll be seeking funds for grant administration. How much are you guys looking to request for that?
That would be, it comes out of the overall total of the grant, so it kind of depends on how much
awarded.
oversight, because Civil West will be the main primary, the head of it, taking up bids and everything else like that. So it kind of depends on what their total ends up being, but it's probably going to be, I think their estimate was right around 80,000.
Okay, I was thinking that would come out of the
It does.
consulting line item, like versus like grant administration, which seems more like what CCD would be doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so usually there's separate parts. So grant administration in the past would be CCD, and I believe that is the plan for this project.
Affirm.
And engineering would come out of, I believe they normally have like an engineering line item. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll have a separate line for that in the
That's my
grant budget.
understanding, yeah. So, because I know Civil West is gonna be doing a lot of the, the procurement, the solicitation documents and all that, and perhaps invoicing, and, but I'm specifically asking about the grant administration. So would that be around 80,000 we're thinking? Depending on,
Yeah. I believe that is correct.
okay,
And that normally goes all to CCD.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then are we seeking the full amount for cities and counties, the 1.5 million? Okay. And then how many fire apparatuses do you guys have? You're talking about 7 to 9 bays for the.
Yeah, we have 7 different apparatus right now.
Okay. So you
So-
need those bays.
Yeah, we have 2 apparatus that we don't have shelter to park them in right now because we only have 5 bays.
Okay. Those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Make it. Do you have comments or questions?
Nope.
Is this okay with you? We do this? Mm-hmm. Good. That's important.
It's very important.
So do you have a motion?
I'll move,
Yeah, yeah. I was
Oh.
going to point where we're.
I'll move to approve applying for the Fall 2025 Community Development Block Grant on behalf of Green Acres Rural Fire Protection District.
I second the motion. Discussion. Hearing none. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Drew? Aye.
Yep. Aye.
I'm an aye
Oh.
as well.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Corey,
Thank you.
Thank you. What's your timeline on this? When would you?
As
anticipate-
soon as we are approved and, which part? Of the application?
Well, no, building.
Okay. Building? As soon as we're funded.
Yeah.
So we already have all of the, Green Acres has already taken the steps ahead and paid for the wildlife surveys and the water runoff concerns and everything. We've done all that research. We've already submitted a plan with the county, with the layout to make sure there wasn't any issues there. So as soon as we're funded, we can start breaking ground.
Megan, any idea how long that process takes to get Hard to tell not right now, I'm guessing.
It just depends on when the grant actually gets approved,
Yeah.
bidding and rain and all that fun stuff.
Again, Corey, thank you. This will be a great addition to our county. We
It-
appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to department head items. Item 5A, let me get myself organized here. Approval of an IGA with the Oregon Health Authority. Mike?
Good morning. Yes, this one is IGA for school-based mental health services, and the biennial amount is $443,701.
Any questions?
Yeah, when I was out towards Powers, it would have been a couple months ago, they mentioned they've had trouble on their end getting mental health services out to the students out there. Are we coordinating with them at all with this money or other ways for some
Well,
of the more
at
rural
one
areas?
point, we used to have every district, and we no longer have that because they chose to go a different way.
Okay.
So right now, we only cover Coos Bay, North Bend, and Bandon, I believe.
Okay, it was the school districts that chose a
Right.
different route then.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay. You have a motion?
I'll move to approve intergovernmental agreement 44300-0004828-0 with Oregon Health Authority and authorized department head Mike Rowley to DocuSign.
I second the motion. Further discussion?
You,
Those in favor, please say aye. Drew?
aye.
John? Aye. Motion is approved. Thank you very
We have a
much.
Late item?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
We'll move then on to late agenda item 7A. Mike, do you want to tell us what this is about?
Yes, we are requesting to hire Siobhan Hinsman. She is transferring from one position to another. Within Coos Health and Wellness, she is with the Assertive Community Treatment Team, and she is moving to the MRT team.
Okay. We have a motion.
I'll move to approve to start the transfer of
Shaban.
Siobhan
Siobhan.
at step 5 of pay grade 452 for the position of Mental Health Associate 2 MRT, Mobile Response Team.
I second the motion. Discussion. Hearing none. Those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Item 5B, a request approval of a partnership with Wild Rivers Coast Mountain Bicycling Association and adopt sole source findings and authorize our forester, Lance, to sign. Lindsay, you're here representing Lance. Thank you.
That name's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have put together a partnership agreement with Wild River Coast Mountain Bicycling Association for the maintenance on the Winchester trails that we do every year. It is in conjunction with the Oregon Parks and Rec Department ATV grant that we just signed off on a couple weeks ago, ATV 25-18. This company is the only one that really does any of this type of trail maintenance around here. So we are requesting that the board approve the attached contract with WRCMBA and authorize the county forester to sign and adopt the sole source findings that that company is the only one that can do that work around
Do
here.
we have a
Sorry.
motion?
I'll move to approve the attached contract with WRCMBA and authorize county forester to sign, adopting sole source findings.
I second the motion. Discussion.
Nope.
Question, so the funding for this is a grant from Oregon Parks and Recreation District.
Yep, it will be.
And Wild Rivers Coast Mountain Bicycling Association is a local organization that's kind of volunteer-based with, I think, support from Travel Southern Oregon Coast and Bandon Dunes. Is that right?
On this
don't know if that's
particular,
important.
no, not necessarily with them on this particular, I mean, they do a lot of work together
Uh-huh.
and they band together to kind of like put together more major projects, but just for the maintenance, it's basically just, this.
Any
company.
further discussion?
Yep.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Drew?
All right.
John? Aye. Motion is approved. Thank you very much. And moving on to 5B, request approval of a partnership, excuse me, 5C, I just did that one. Request approval of Oregon State Marine Board contract and authorize sheriff to sign.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Gabe.
Good morning, gentlemen. Just that, this is a 2-year IGA, totaling $147,220 per year, which is $62,500 less than it was per year as of a month ago. But anyway, regardless, just requesting me to sign this IGA.
Do we have a motion?
I will move to approve the sheriff to sign the IGA with
Second.
Oregon State Marine Board.
Second that motion. Discussion. Those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion is approved. Okay, let's go on to 5D, request approval of agreement with the U.S. Department of Agriculture for law enforcement. Again, the sheriff.
This is a new one. This is the Forest Service contract that you guys worked out. It's totaling $28,600 for patrol services in the forest. It'll be part of the TOPS duties, TOPS deputies' duties. So it backfills some of the general fund amount. So requesting approval of this IGA and for myself to sign.
All right, I'll move to approve and sign the attached contracts and agreements.
All right, second the motion. Discussion.
Nope.
So is this for just the forest land in the Siuslaw, or is it for the dunes, or
Just forest land.
just the forest land? So that would be in the north part of our county and the Siskiyou in the south.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Stretch thin. Okay, 'cause that guy's got a lot,
It'll be busy.
of going to do.
That's in addition to the TOPS, the private companies,
Yeah.
because they fill 50% of this position.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Drew? All right.
John, aye. The motion is approved.
Just grants today. Yay.
Thank you.
Yay, money.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, oops. You got a late agenda item, 7B, I'm sorry.
DSL.
Sorry.
This is for our TOPS, our Timber and Operation Patrol Services Program.
Yeah, so, again, a long-standing contract, just requesting that we review, approve, and sign, requesting the board sign this one.
Move to approve and sign attached contracts and agreements. That was both of them.
So this is specifically for Oregon Department of State Lands, so I presume that is part of the Elliott?
No, the TOPS is the private landowners.
Oh.
They all pay into a aggregate amount for half of one deputy's patrol. So
Oh.
he patrols private landowners here.
But this is a contract just with DSL for us to police the public forest
As
lands.
part of the TOPS deputy. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so,
Yes.
so it'll be the TOPS deputy position that they're funding half of,
Half, I'm
and
sorry.
approximately half of the TOPS deputy's time will be spent on patrolling DSL lands.
Which would be largely the
I believe
Elliott.
it's the Elliott,
Elliott,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I think we have another commissioner that might know more about this. So, does that commissioner want to make a motion?
Yeah. I thought I did.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And I second it. All right.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
I appreciate the folks at the Elliott listened when I've been hassling them. They need to make some community investments.
Tried to get a little money out of the state for a change.
Well,
Okay,
and someone needs to be patrolling the Elliott.
That would be nice.
why? Nothing's going on up there.
Well,
Those
no,
in
unless
favor,
we-
please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those- Oops, you got them both. The motion is approved. Thank you, Sheriff.
After they shut down the prison up there, they were telling me when I did my tour, the water pump facility they've got in there, I think was an inside job, because as soon as everybody was out, somebody went in, shut off the power, and cut all the copper piping out of their water system. They left the water running, so that was a problem.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they might need police.
Okay, let's move on to item 5E, approval of an order designated a newspaper for the annual foreclosure list. Megan.
So each year, a designation of a newspaper must be made for the publication of the annual foreclosure list per ORS 312.040. The tax collector, me, is requesting the Coquille Valley Sentinel be designated as it is a newspaper of general circulation within the county.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve order 25-06-032B.
I second the motion. Discussion?
So we don't use the world at all?
So, every year, we send the previous year's foreclosure list to each newspaper, well, 2 newspapers, the Sentinel and the World, to see who is cheaper. The Sentinel was $787.50. The World was $2,201.67, which is almost 3 times the amount of the Sentinel. So, no, we don't typically use
Fair
the
enough.
World.
Any further discussion?
No, I'm just gonna laugh at them.
Those in favor, please say aye.
All right,
Aye. Motion is approved. Item 5F, request approval to pay South Coast Development Council dues. Again, this is yours, Megan.
So this was budgeted, and Drew emailed me the invoice, and I realized it was over $10,000, so I had to come get full board approval. But again, it is budgeted out of the Economic Development Fund.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve payment of dues to SCDC in the amount of $12,000.
I second the motion. Discussion for those in the audience, which are not too many people here today. South Coast Development Corporation, I think, is having its
Yep,
this is its 25th year. Drew represents us on the board. They were put together, this organization was put together 25 years ago to replace what was and wasn't here. In those years, sometimes the county had its own economic development organization. Sometimes one of the cities would, and then they'd run out of funding, and then they wouldn't. And so this organization was put together to be a collaboration of all the governmental agencies that wished to be a part of it, or in all the county governmental agencies, as well as the private sector. And it has survived for 25 years, and although it doesn't often hit a home run because there just aren't that many businesses that are, knocking at our door to locate here, they do serve their purpose well. They are here to answer questions when someone comes knocking on the door. I know they have a pretty good opportunity right now, and I've been involved enough to know, although it's not public, that they're doing their part in attracting businesses here. It's been a while, but were it not for SCDC, I don't think we would have GMA Garnett, which is an employer of about 50 people, good wages. They used the port, created a new terminal and a new, upgraded old terminal. It's now used, and they get several ships a year coming in. So with that, any further discussion?
Just that, yeah, I would agree, and with the large project they're looking at right now, I know the folks that came to town to see if they want to invest here were very impressed by all the leaders that SCDC pulled together on short notice and put in one room. So they definitely help make us an attractive area by showing interest in doing business.
Do you have a motion?
Move to, I already moved, didn't I?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, losing track here. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
And that
Thanks,
check
Megan.
will go out on Thursday.
Cool.
5G, request award of a contract for the OSU Extension Building roof replacement. Now,
Back again.
now you get to come up. Good morning.
Good morning. So, as we discussed earlier through the OSU, or the 4-H service district, we went out through bid through the Daily Commerce in Douglas County. We only received 2 bids, one coming from Richards Remodeling Construction at $219,000, and we had the other bid coming from Pioneer Roofing LLC at $155,000. So we are requesting that we approve the contract to contract with Pioneer Roofing LLC so that we can schedule to get a new roof on.
We have
Cool.
a motion.
Where'd it go? I'll move to award and sign contract for the 2025 OSU Extension Office Roof Replacement Project to Pioneer Roofing LLC.
Second, further discussion.
I just want to say this, when we were initially looking at this project, we had a quote of, I think it was $55,000.
$56,000.
$56,000. And it turns out there was a lot more legwork that needed to be done to formally procure this, and Kyle has done a really good job, going through those hoops. And I think we've got a pretty good bid for this project.
I think so, too.
Because it includes not just the roof, but also the siding as well.
It's replacing the single shingle siding that's on the little tower, the full roof replacement, all the vents, flashing. So we shouldn't have to worry about that roof for hopefully 40 years, but typically 30 to 40.
Good. Any more discussion?
Yep.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion is approved. And
So now my question is, do I need to have you guys sign my contract, or is that, okay, good. Thank you.
and Colton, do you want to describe to those in the audience who might be interested how we came to own this building and the benefits to the county?
Sure, yeah. So we were approached by the Umpqua Community Development Corporation, I think over a year ago now, that they were intending to sell the property that's currently leased by the district, and the county stepped in to prevent some other landlord from acquiring the property and potentially kicking the district out. And we purchased the property knowing that the roof was in sort of a state of disrepair, and we were able to knock some of the costs of the purchase off because of that reality. And now we're just circling back to make the fix.
And we're using
the district's funds,
Yeah.
existing funds to do that. So, but otherwise, the property's in pretty good shape.
and we're getting rent. on
And
the
we'll be
building.
collecting rent and recovering our costs of maintenance, ongoing maintenance of the building. Though, as I said, there's not much maintenance that needs to be done other than this roof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Consent calendar,
Move to approve the consent calendar.
second. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. And let's go on to one last late agenda item, and that's for HR. It's a request to approve rehiring Mike Krim. Oh, God, where is she? Guess I can do this one. Our parole and probation leader, community corrections leader, and now juvenile department as well, is eligible for drawing his PERS employment. And he will start doing that effective today. So he will be working, he'll still get his regular compensation, and he'll draw his PERS on top of that. And we have an agreement that we need to have signed or to approve to allow this to happen effective today. And a payroll resolution that we need to approve. This payroll resolution would simply state that he will continue to get what he is currently earning, being paid by the county for the services he provides. So do we have a motion?
Clarifying question there. So I believe what we're doing now is we're approving of the rehire and directing HR in consultation with legal counsel to prepare the agreement. I don't believe we have the agreement ready to go yet.
All right.
But as a concept, I think we're looking for the board to.
But we have a payroll resolution.
Wait, there's
That
a
part of the
payroll
agreement.
resolution, and then
Yeah,
looking for the board to direct us to prepare that
all right.
agreement.
Let me know if this motion is still accurate. Move to approve agreement with Mike Krim pursuant to the Coos County PERS retiree policy effective July 1st, 2025, and approve and sign payroll resolution 25-06-129P.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate. I think it should be board to approve rehire of Mike Krim pursuant to the retiree policy and approve and sign resolution. And then we'll take it from that we need to prepare.
Yeah, so there's nothing more, this is, yeah. So
Moved as amended by county council.
Yeah, I would just say board to approve rehire of Mike Krim, and then the rest can be the same.
Move to
Well,
approve
we
rehire.
do have a payroll resolution.
That would be the same, that you'd approve and sign the.
Okay.
So I'm just changing a couple words there in the.
Bobby, you got it all? I got it. Oh, good.
I think Bobby understands what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Any discussion?
Nope.
In times past, we've kind of discouraged doing this. This is a bit of a change in our policy. Not a great change, we always could, but this, we've getting a little more liberal about bringing people back when they're drawing their PERS retirements. Or actually not bringing them back, just allowing them to stay. So, any further discussion?
No, just that, I agree. He earned his retirement. He can collect his retirement, and he could get a job anywhere else if he wanted and continue to work. And thankfully, he wants to stay here. And with recent transitions in structure, now would be a very bad time to lose his knowledge.
So, those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
All right.
Aye. Those opposed, motion is approved. Bobby? So that completes our agenda. Commissioner reports.
Yeah, so happy 4th to everybody. Do be careful with your fireworks. First day of fire season this year, we already had a fire, so do be cautious because we'll celebrate freedom, but don't burn our forest down while you do it. There's nobody really in the audience that I'm talking to right now, but there might be people online.
I'm listening.
Yep, I appreciate it. That's last week I was up at the Capitol for the last day of my county college commissioners training, and at that time we had something that's been a little unprecedented according to the lobbyists that were up there. Folks will know the transportation package failed at the House, but in a bit of a blink of an eye, the legislature threw together another bill. They took 3402, which was a half page on studying speed bumps, and turned it into a 20-pager with a bunch of pieces from the transportation package and tried to ram it through real quick. We got news just before 1, and they did their hearing for 3:45. Coincidentally, they picked a day that a bunch of brand new bushy-eyed commissioners were up there, so we all moved over from the office 3 blocks down to the Capitol. So 20 of us stacked the room where they were going to have that hearing, and then they delayed it for 2 hours because I don't think they expected pushback, and the legislators had dinner waiting to see if we were going to leave. So the hearing eventually happened at 6, but it was still able to be defeated, and I pointed out to him when I was able to give my testimony that the new version they did would have had no money for counties and cities. They were going to do a partial gas tax only to shore up ODOT because they didn't get the package they wanted. So something I pointed out while I gave my testimony is I understand they don't like to lay people off, but all the rest of us have had to lay people off. We've seen cuts to our Marine Board funding. We've seen cuts to our community corrections funding. It's going to cause changes. And I told them they don't get to shore up their own ship while they keep punching holes in ours. And that ended up working out pretty well. It made it out of committee, but it didn't make it out of the legislature. There's going to be an article coming out in a number of papers that I've written around the CFAA agreement. That's the mental health agreement, the funding there. There were 24 out of 36 counties refusing to sign it because the state it would force counties to take overflow from the state hospital, and they want to take out the part subject to availability of funds. So they want counties to do more and not guarantee us enough money to do it. There were 24 out of 36 counties refusing to sign. Meetings and negotiations had taken place since. Some ultimatums and threats were made towards counties. So now it is 30 out of 36 counties saying they won't sign. It's a good sign because both with that transportation bill that they kind of shimmied up and this, it's rural and urban counties agreeing that they're not going to accept what the state's trying to do. So right now at the advocacy level, we're seeing a kind of a patching of the urban-rural divide, which is exciting to see.
Commissioner, I will add, so actually no counties signed the draft IGA that was
Oh, good.
distributed by OHA. It could be maybe some were considering or willing to sign, but there had been no, which is surprising to me because, well, for reasons I won't elaborate on. But yeah, I think there were no counties had signed it, and they sought the 6-month extension of the existing terms, and so negotiations are still ongoing. But yeah, interesting conversation taking place.
It's an interesting time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll cut it off there. Nobody's actually here to listen.
Well, I'll rant against the state on another thing they just done. Years ago, in an effort to close down the number of prison beds the state had, they came up with a parole and probation plan, which gave a response, which funded the county's parole and probation departments, theoretically out of money that the state was going to save by not having to have as many prison beds. And that's worked quite well for I don't know how many years. But this year, the state cut, and I can't remember how many millions of dollars it was that they cut from.
About 50 million statewide.
Statewide, they took $50 million away from all the county parole and probation departments. It was cost our county $400,000 to $450,000, and is going to make it difficult for community corrections to proceed at the same level that we've become used to. Again, it's a example of the state not really being fair to the counties, and that's disturbing to me. So that's the only comment I have today, so we'll open this up to citizen comments. I don't have anyone here. I'm not going to count. Ray, do you have, you'd like, I see you there.
I just want to say I finally got on and I'm glad I'm here.
Anyone else
That's about it.
that's coming in? Okay, well, hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for all you do.
So who told you to start doing the roll call?